will help, hopefully, in addressing women's health. Um,
Hi Anshika.
Hi, finally. Wow. I feel like I'm seeing you
Finally,
after,
wow.
wow. I feel like I'm seeing you after
This
so many months. It feels like
I
years
know.
actually.
I
But
know
I'm
we
so
live a lane apart and we still have not been able to see each other. Is this the longest that we haven't met?
this is the longest.
This is the
This
longest.
is the longest. And it feels like years. But I'm so happy to see you right now. And I'm really, yeah.
Likewise. And like I was saying, guys, that Anshika is my yoga guru, if I may say so. And today, being International Women's Health Day, I thought, it's all about addressing issues that affect a woman's health and well-being. And who better than Anshika to answer a few questions that you guys have already sent us. But let's start from the importance of health, Anshuka. Today more than in today's day and age and the times that we're living in, there's been a lot of focus on health. So, what is
Mhm.
health according to you, and why is it important for people to address it?
Uh, Especially during these times, obviously health is of the most importance because health is a 360 degree of how you're really feeling, how your body is feeling, how your physical body is feeling, your emotional body, your spiritual body. So it's really important to understand that we are an amalgamation of it all.
Correct.
Of course, being healthy has always been important. Now more so ever, we give it more importance because of this pandemic. But I think what's really important to understand that your emotional body, your spiritual body, all of that plays so much of a role in your immunity. So right now, more than ever, what we really need is immunity, and we need that strength to fight. Your body
Right.
needs that. So as much as people are stressing, and of course there is always so much bad news, it's so important to really pause and check in with your health, because in turn what you're really doing is improving that immunity of your body, whether it is your
Correct.
mental immunity, your physical immunity, your spiritual immunity. It's a whole 360. So when it's a
Correct.
360 of immunity, it's really fighting back, and that is going to help us for now survive, breathe.
Right.
And what is really important to also understand is just waking up every morning for that extra day, living, breathing. Today is being healthy. So you have to be well-being more than wellness, your own
Yeah.
personal well-being. You have to do your check-ins. How are you feeling? Are you feeling anxious? If you're feeling anxious, it's all right to feel anxious. We are going through a pandemic. This is the first
But
time
how do
that
we address it?
the only way
The
to do is,
question is
yeah,
that.
to pause, to check in, and do little things. So I'm going to share it with a personal story. So for me, I think the second wave, like this year right now, has been harder than last year. This
Yeah.
year, it's not only about people that we hear of passing away, or right now we are losing, it's like a 1 degree of separation. So
Right.
what I really understand is, there are doctors, there are frontline workers that are doing all the hero stuff all out there. What's
Right.
important is how can you help, and how can you help yourself. So starting with yourself, I think it's important to wake up in the morning, have a routine, have some discipline. And if you don't want to do anything, that's fine. But even just going out, I'm just going to give you a few tips that really help to increase one's well-being. We can talk about so many fancy things, but the most important thing is to wake up and go out, even if it's your terrace, or pop out of the window and get a little bit of sunshine. I think
Yeah.
start with that. Automatically start with thinking about something positive. So that's going into your more emotional body. So once you
Right.
start thinking positively, you start feeling positively. So
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
small things we can talk about. Yes, you must exercise, 60 minutes and eat right, and so many other things that people already know. But I think what's really important are these little things to really pause and check in. It's okay to not be okay. That's
Yeah.
I feel like right now we're all feeling guilty to feel happy. You know, if I have a happy day or I'm smiling, I feel guilty. I'm like, why am I smiling when there's so much death, there's illness, you know, what is going on? You know, am I doing something wrong? But then I realized that it's really important for me to be healthy, because once I am healthy, that's the only time I can impart health and my knowledge, my limited resources of knowledge. And now coming to yoga, I feel like yoga is such a tune in. Actually, more than me, Rakul, you should be answering this question, to be very honest, because you are such a, no, it's true. I always say that you are, I think you're my top 5 most motivating people. If I need motivation,
Oh,
you are one of the people that I seek, right, advice from, even when it comes to health. So I think I remember we discussing about your body is your
yeah.
first home, right? So when
Yeah.
we are cleaning a house and we are throwing out all the litter and
Why don't we
garbage, why
clean
don't
the
we do
place we
that?
live in?
Clean the place
Yes.
that we live in. And
I've always I've always been a believer of that, Anshika, that you know the only place you truly live in is your body, and you addressed it very beautifully, that it's not just our physical body, it's our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, and a lot of conversation has begun on these things. But I think what will help people is understanding the importance of how yoga can help in doing that. You know,
right,
yes, there's a lot of guilt associated. Yes, there's a lot of pain that people are going through, you know, and each one of us is hearing very disheartening news every single day. But how do you calm yourself? How do you inculcate possibly meditation? And I know that, and why I'm saying that is because I've said this over and over again. Guys, I was not a yoga person ever. I was somebody who thought yoga was really very boring till I met Anshika, and she sort of brought this calmness in my life. You sort of start questioning yourself, reasoning out, solving your own problems through meditation, through yoga, and it's become my sanity. So, can you tell our viewers, our people who are watching, how can they, you know, through small practices, inculcate this peace at this point?
so let's talk about meditation. Meditation is, you don't need to go up to the mountains and you don't need to isolate yourself. You can be meditating. Meditating is being present. We can be meditating right now. You know, meditating is all about being present, but usually with oneself, right? So there are small practices. I know Yog Nidra is one of the practices that you really believe in, which you can talk about. But before that, let me talk about a small thing like candle gazing, which is called Trataka, you know, which is just, everybody has a candle. You just burn a candle and you watch the flame. So while
Yeah,
while that illumination is happening with the flame, all you're doing is really focusing, but really you're going inward. So for meditation can be done in so many different ways, but the most important and the most accessible is your breath. So coming back to
yeah,
breath, why is breathing so important? Breathing right. We're breathing all the time. I always say it's the only constant that we have. Since the time we
yeah,
are born till literally your last breath is when you're breathing, and you should breathe right. I can talk about nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic, but I'm going to take it
with
to a
yeah,
very a layman term. We need to rest and relax. Your body needs to attain the state of relaxation. That is also a form
yeah,
of meditation. So when you breathe right, that's the nervous system that's being triggered. So when you
right.
inhale correctly, when you exhale correctly, there's no more stale air in your body. Let's look at this. If I take a deep breath in right now and I exhale, I'm inhaling for about 3 seconds, but I exhale for only 2 seconds, automatically there's some stale air that's left in my lungs, right? So I'm
Right.
not exhaling enough. Automatically, when I inhale again, I will have only 2 portions to inhale. So my breath is getting smaller. So what's really important with breath work is to understand that your inhalation and your exhalation should actually be equal. So hence we do different kind of breath work, pranayam, to attain that. Now, once
Right.
you breathe right, all your systems start working correctly. In turn,
Correct.
all your organs start working correctly. In turn, your blood circulation is refreshed. And like your car, you would send your car for a reboot, or you keep sending your car to fuel up. It's the same thing with each
Yeah.
organ. If you want
And
your
I think
organs,
Yeah, the
So
breathing does that, and no, breathing does
absolutely.
that, and like yoga nidra, you mentioned yoga nidra. I was going to come to that. A lot of women, I had these questions in my inbox about how much can women work out? Will it affect their hormonal cycle? Will it affect their periods? A lot of them go through irregular cycles, and I think proper regular practicing of meditation, this pranayam and yoga nidra can help, because like you said, it switches off your body from the fight or flight mode and
To,
converts it into a calm and relaxed zone. It gives you that
right.
disconnect, and I practice it post my workout because I love to do intense workouts. And post that, even if you can give your body 15-20 minutes to shut down and sort of adapt, I think that's how all who are listening can bring this into practice. Anshika, we have a lot of questions that I think we should address. So Shruti has asked that how do you start doing yoga if you're a beginner, and what are the baby steps we need to take? Trust me on this, I was a beginner at one point and now I'm an addict.
So for now, especially because I mean, you cannot go into a studio. Otherwise, the easiest way would be to just grab a mat and just go into the nearest studio, and obviously learn from a certified teacher. But because we do not have that right now, just buy a yoga mat and try and follow a certified yoga teacher's class. Don't go onto YouTube, because you don't want to get injured. You don't want to just learn from people who are putting content out there that are not certified. That's what I keep talking about. It's very important to learn from the right person. So
Right.
find any certified teacher. We also offer online classes. Sign up for our classes. Sign up for any class that you can really get access to, as long as it's a certified teacher. And give yourself
Right.
one class. I think one class will change your mind about yoga. And baby steps as a beginner, to remember that it's not a competition. It's great that you're doing it online so that you're not really looking at anybody else right now. So I see a lot of that in newcomers, when they're seeing
Yeah.
other people and they get disheartened. So just to understand, and I think when you allow your body to explore for that 60 minutes practice, it's going to change your mind.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add, I've met so many people who say, but I can't bend, I'm really stiff, and how will I do yoga? But trust me, guys, you always begin from not being able to do something to be able to do it, and that's where your willpower comes in. I think all you
Absolutely.
need, adding to what Anshika said, all you need is the desire to be able to do, and the desire to begin from somewhere. And what's a better time than now? All right, we have our second question by Hina Das, who says how to balance hormones, mood swings, um, especially after menopause. Are there asanas that can help people go through menopause easily?
So there are a lot of inversion practices that help to ease out the symptoms of menopause. Of course, menopause is inevitable, and I think the acceptance of what's going to happen. There's so much knowledge out there, is definitely a starter, because you'll have your hot flushes, you'll have your mood swings, and they're going to go on for, sometimes it depends on weeks, sometimes months, sometimes people they watch these signs and symptoms for years. But what's important to understand is, if you get a yoga practice which includes a few inversions, that's really going to help your endocrine system. So think of your endocrine system as balancing your hormones. So when it's menopause, for a layman, again, your hormones are out of whack. So it's a hormonal circus. There's chaos, and what yoga does is really calm. It helps to bring those hormones back and balance it. So practices like a simpler inversion, it would be Setu Bandhasan, your shoulder stand, your halasans. If you can't do a headstand, that's fine. You can take your legs up on the wall, Viparita Karni. You can, I mean, there are so many things. You can also lie on the edge of the bed and really pop your head down. So that's as
Right.
good as an inversion, because it's stimulating your endocrine system and stimulating your thyroid gland. It's balancing. And Brahmari pranayam, the bee humming sound pranayam. I know that's up on my YouTube channel, so y'all must check it out if you want to follow step by step. So when you do all sorts of these practices, along with, of course, the right kind of nutrition, your right kind of sleep, because I love to say that yoga will cure everything, but it
Sleep. Let's talk about sleep, Anshika. I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, a lot of people don't pay importance to sleep. right?
Right.
There is a certain way that our bodies are supposed to be tuned in with the circadian rhythm.
Rhythm.
And because of the lifestyle now, I personally feel that women are more sensitive to
Mm-hmm.
these things, because our bodies are made very differently. We're more in tune with how the vibration frequency, as you can say. So what is the importance of sleep? Can we talk about the repair that the body undergoes? How our body undergoes self-healing when we sleep, entering the REM cycle and all of that.
Absolutely. So one thing to understand is that the energy. So what you were saying, the outside energy really affects our internal body. And what is happening,
Yeah.
why we prefer the circadian rhythm is because you're waking up with the sunrise and you're sleeping when the sun sets. You're eating in between those times. So it's a healthier lifestyle. You're certain vitamins, if you don't get enough sun exposure, no matter how many supplements you pop in, they are not going to get absorbed by the body. So small things like that are really important to note. And when it comes to sleep, I truly believe that nowadays it's very hard to build a sleep cycle because everybody has extreme hard routines. And with
Yeah.
the rise in anxiety, it's extremely important to get that rhythm back in place.
Yeah.
Let's think about like your mobile phone. Your battery is going to get drained and then you have to charge it. Similarly, that's your body. We never let our mobile's battery die out. We always put it to charge. We are always holding on to it. So think about that. If you can do something for an external source, how important that is for your body. Your anxiety, your mental health, I cannot stress enough. Your physical health, they're all interdependent. So it's like saying
Right.
if you don't sleep, your body is not going to be 100% recharged. Your body is not going to um, all the organs are not going to function properly, and in turn your immunity is going to be at lax, and in turn
Right.
it's literally you're actually hosting a body for illness. So sleep is actually for me the most important thing. And REM sleep, a lot of people don't get into REM sleep. So again, how do we explain REM in like a layman term? REM is your deepest sleep. That's when your repair of the body is really happening. Sometimes you're in and out of sleep, you're sleeping very shallow, but your body requires those X amount of hours to really repair. So if you don't go into that sleep, you might feel that, oh, I've slept 8 hours. But if you haven't hit REM, that's as good as not sleeping at all. So
Correct.
one has to realize that they need to form an
and
everyday
and
routine
and when
for
we and
sleep.
when we yes, and when we say repair work, guys, it means that every cell of your body
Body.
needs that recharging. You have to be able to give in the 6 to 8 hours. It depends, whatever makes you feel recharged for the morning. But please try to keep your phones and digital devices a little away from your bed, and try it out, and you will see that your energy levels will be higher. Your body will be more, just that there'll be a lot of internal strength, and which is what you need right now. Coming to next question, can women do intense workouts during their menstrual cycle? Guys, I think I'll let
I
Anshika
think
answer this.
I think you're the better person to answer this question. I was gonna so take it away.
No, I'm just going to give my side of the story. I think each one of us go through very different ways of menstrual cycle. Some have painful periods, and some sail through it very normally. I personally just avoid ab workouts possibly on
Hmm.
the first
Hmm.
3 days, but then do my proper intense workouts, because for me that's my recharging. Unless I don't have my flush of hormones and feel that I have really worked out and sweated out, then I don't feel that great. But I know that inversion should be avoided.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what
yes,
you've told
yes,
me.
yes.
So that's something you can highlight on, that what is it that should be avoided. But I personally feel workout. Except for
Right,
if your body signals you, listen to your body. If your body
right,
signals you that you need to, then please go ahead.
right. So we are always working to take our energy towards from the bottom of our body all the way to the top, right? So when you're going through your menstrual cycle, that's when your energy is dissipating towards gravity. Hence, we talk about not inverting. But if you're, but
Oh,
as a yoga practitioner, as a teacher, I'm always doing that, even when I'm on my cycle, because sometimes I'm showing people, or I get into that practice because I am comfortable with it.
right.
What I tell every student is that no two bodies are the same, you know. Everybody is an individual. Everybody's body is different. So if you feel like you can push a little and go that extreme, because you want to release your serotonin, so your serotonin,
Yes.
adrenaline, endorphins, guys, they are your happy hormones, right? So when you go for a run, you feel good. When you do yoga, you feel good. When you go to the gym, you feel good. Why do you feel good? Because your happy hormones are being released. So that
Right.
also helps you. So your inversions really, and more importantly, doing a little bit of stretching and a little bit of movement helps to um, it actually helps us a little bit of a cushion towards your emotional symptoms. So your mood swings become slightly better during your menstrual cycle. The pain feels slightly better because you're releasing all your happy hormones. So sometimes people that have painful periods, I'll always make them do a practice which actually helps them to they feel like, oh, the pain is gone. But the pain really hasn't disappeared. It's just that your happier hormones have been released a little more. So you're feeling
Right.
good, you're feeling more refreshed. And yeah, but if you have to go the most conventional way with yoga is not to do any inversions, not to activate any bandhas, which is very important, and also your pelvic floor. So if you're going deeper into your pelvic floor and doing abdominal work, you can try to not do that. But if you're somebody who's been doing this all the time, just keep doing it. Don't stop today, because that's you shocking your body all over again. So if you're comfortable,
Right.
just listen to yourself. I think that's the most important.
Right. So we have another question, which is about chickpeas. Nidhi is asking that I wanted to ask about chickpeas. It's gassy and sometimes gives a feeling of bloating, but is also considered a good source of protein and fiber. What's the catch here? Is it even good for me as I'm trying to lose weight, or should I avoid it?
So, of course, if you're feeling these kind of symptoms, avoid it, because your body is probably not responding to that kind of protein. Again, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to anything, what I've recently realized is even the best kind of protein out there is not going to work the same way for two people. The best kind of,
Yeah.
the best designed workout program is not going to work the same way for two people.
Yes.
So if
I think
something is
every
not
body is
working for you,
different.
yeah. So if something's not working for you, pause, go back, and there are so many alternates right now.
Yeah.
That are widely available, and it's not because you might be intolerant or allergic to chickpeas. Sometimes you might be overdoing it. So anything excessive is also not good. So just pause
Yes.
and try to change things around. So I think tweaking that a little bit, Nidhi, is much better. Of course, go on,
Yeah.
Rakul. I know you have something to share about this.
Yeah, and I think try soaking your chickpeas in apple cider vinegar
Vinegar.
overnight. That helps in taking out the gaseousness
Yes.
of chickpeas. But otherwise, if you're vegetarian, there are so
So
many
many.
protein. Like you said, there's green peas, there's methi, spinach, so much. Your other dals, your green moong dal, which is a great source of protein, and losing weight. Because she addressed here losing weight, I just want to add something, guys, that me and Anshika are both believers of a more balanced approach to eating, as opposed to can I eat this or that? Will I lose weight with this or that? We have so many fat diets these days that psychologically start messing with us. Everything we
Right.
eat, we're thinking, oh my God, is this going to make us put on weight? It is about what your body is responding to at the end of the day. Listen to it. Go back to the conventional way of how our grandmother's food was. Rice does not make you fat. I have another question there actually. We
Yeah.
could just,
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody's asked, Alankar's asked, in place of rice, if I take chapati, will it help in reducing or maintaining health? So I just want to say, rice is the nicest form of carb. It's sweet
Absolutely.
potato, rice, and these are simple carbs which your body needs as energy, and you're not going to be fat. Now, of course, if you eat half a kg of rice in one meal, it is going to make you fat, or five chapatis, it is going to make you fat. So eat two-third of your hunger and balanced food. Please do
Yes.
not
Yeah.
negate any food group. You'd like to add anything to that,
No,
Anshika?
just as no, I think it's portion control. It's about balance. It's about balance everywhere. I think no fat diet really works, And I
Yeah.
think that, I mean, till now, I realized that I think the one of my best restaurants of the foods that I have had is at your house. I think your, it's true, your ghar ka khana, I think, like it just beats any restaurant that Bombay has,
Oh
and
my
it's so
God.
tasty and it's nutritious. And I realized that we never miss out a food group. When we have a meal together, it's all different food groups, it's yumminess, and it's the energy. So no matter what, even if you're on the best kind of portion control, guys, and you're like putting things into your mouth and you're just unhappy, you're not going to lose weight.
Yeah.
So I think that's also important to understand, that you need your emotional body, your mental health, your physical body, they all play a big role in how you're
Yeah.
looking and how you're feeling. So even if I'm eating the
Absolutely.
most, the best calorie counted meals and portion control, but I'm not happy with the food I'm eating, my body is not going to look the way I want. I am not
Yeah.
going
If
to
you,
definitely feel like that. So
yeah.
there are, I
Yeah. If
think this is
somebody
what we
tells me,
forget.
if somebody tells me you have to eat salads, I'll be like, no, I'm angry. And with that sad face, you will never be
Yeah,
able to lose weight. So it
absolutely.
all
Yeah.
comes down to, firstly, take out the word diet from your dictionary. It's all about healthy and wholesome eating, and see what works for your body, and reach out to a nutritionist if you need to.
Right.
All right, we're going to pick our last question. The Vijay Lakshmi has said that I've gone through 2 C-section deliveries and I'm facing back pain problems and neck pain frequently. Also, she continues to sit in front of a laptop for really long. So, what type of yoga asanas do I need to do, and how do I tighten the loose belly?
So this is one of the most common, I mean, common complaints that I see a lot of postnatal, especially after C-section, women come to me. What's important to understand, guys, like you're already saying in your question, that you're still sitting on that laptop for so many hours or sitting on that computer. So take a few breaks in between, make sure you're walking around, create movement. Your body needs movement. Nothing that's just kept, especially your body, your skeletal system is going to continuously age. So that's important to understand. When it comes to yoga asanas, you can start with a few cat cow poses. You can start with a little bit of downward dogs. You can start with twisting. So open versus closed twisting. So you can literally twist your body. This is again something that I have on my YouTube channel. So it's better that you just go and follow, or if you can, try to get into a simple beginner yoga class, or get like a teacher that helps you to twist your body, twist your spine. So the more flexible you are in your spine, definitely the more healthier and more flexible you are in your mind and your overall happiness. So what I've realized, especially after delivery, again, you have a big hormonal change. So it takes a lot of time. Imagine you're going through it for 9 months, and and then right after that, you go into working, where your body has hosted another body, a physical body that has been brought into life. I mean, you've given it life. So it's very important to understand that it takes a big toll on your skeletal system, which we forget. And
Yeah.
especially the people with C-sections, I know it's hard. I know it's harder, but you guys need to work a little more harder. We need to strengthen that core a little more. So start basics. And when you're on the laptop or computer, Vijay Lakshmi, get up every 30 minutes, walk around for 5 minutes. So every 30 minutes, you must get up, walk around for 5 minutes, hydrate as much as you can, eat nutritious food, and more importantly, just get into any routine. Find a certified teacher online or live, and just start a basic yoga class of movement. Even a few stretches will just help you to feel better.
Yeah.
And
I
I've
was just going
realized
to
that
come to that. The neck stretches and the
neck
shoulder
stretches,
stretches.
absolutely. And strengthening your core, strengthening
Yeah.
your core is so much more important, because we cannot really work on our abdominals and our core all the time when we are pregnant. So through
Right.
that time, your body is going into a lazy mechanism, when it comes to your abdominals. So we have to take a little while longer to strengthen it, but start from scratch.
Great, great. So, guys, I hope we've been able to answer your questions, and this was a great conversation, Anshika. And to everyone who's still thinking, how do I start? Just start. I think this time has taught us that it's so important to take care of ourselves, our bodies, our well-being, and it's never too late to begin from somewhere. So, pick your
Right.
mat, work out if that works for you, do yoga if that works for you, make the right choices, and wish you all a very, very, very healthy life.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. And remember, guys, always include the word holistic in whatever you do.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that means, go Google it right now. When you look at everything in a more holistic approach, you realize that your body's and the way you feel is way more than just your skeletal body and your physical
Right.
body. And that's what's going to turn your life around. And I hope everyone stays healthy.
Yes. And thank you, Anshika, for joining me
Thank
and
you.
educating people around creating awareness. And I shall hopefully see you soon. Bye.
Bye.